get with them. All right. Okay, well, welcome to Summit Center for Spiritual Living, where we share universal good through love, and where we like to anyways, I'm going to where we like to reveal God through meditation and helping each other getting better. So anyways, the first thing that I have is a candle that I light. It has 2 wicks in it. The first wick represents spirit, or all that is. And then the second candle I light represents us as community. And then that makes it easier for us to serve, empower, and reveal God through love. So with that, I turn this over to John Miller to lead us in a song.
Well, my screen share is being slow about opening up here.
Well, you're actually you're in a stop mode on our end. We can hear you, but you're just you're just frozen.
Oh, I'm frozen?
Yeah, on the picture. So I wouldn't worry about the screen share. Just go ahead and do your thing.
Oh, well, he's gone.
So much for that. Okay, so while we're waiting for him to get back in, this week is Palm Sunday, and John is doing our message. And then, not sure it's going to be Michael, if it's going to be me next week. One of us is doing Easter. And then the first Sunday will be Carol Ann in March, or April, I mean. I don't think we planned anything else for anybody, did we? So, okay, so we'll get that planned afterwards, but that's either way, it's going to be good. And so Carol Ann reminded me, she was asking me what our tagline was. And I had to think about it for a second. And I was like, oh gosh, yeah. Serve, empower, reveal. Serving, empowering, revealing through God, so that we can experience more. I mean, I kind of added a little extra there, but we serving, empowering, revealing to bring us closer to Spirit or God. So, all right. Michael, you got anything to say on that?
No, we just need to put that in our format. That's all.
Yeah.
Write that in our format.
Right.
Anyhow, so I could do Science of Mind 365.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and start with that?
All right. So this is for Palm Sunday. This is on abundant living. And Ernest Holmes wrote that. She says, why go through life? Okay.
I think he's back. There he is. Hi, John.
Hey, John, I'd forget about the screen share. I'd just go ahead and just go with it.
Why don't you go ahead and do your opening song?
Do your song.
Now I can't hear you. You're not on mute. I just can't hear you. And there's Michelle.
I'll get her.
I got it. Hi, Michelle.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Hi, Diana.
Yes. Barely hear you, John. Barely hear you.
Barely. Oh,
Barely. Oh, and who's this one? Someone entering the waiting room.
All right. Well, let's try this.
Hello, Summit, whoever you may be. We welcome you.
How's it sound now?
Yeah, that's good.
Here we are for being together. For good, for better, forever.
It's still not loud enough.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Your original sound needs to be on, John.
It is on.
Okay.
Let me make sure it's got the right microphone. Man, I gotta get a new computer. This is just ridiculous. No, nothing's working right. Oh, man.
Nothing's working?
Oh, I can't. I'm just trying to.
Okay. He's gone again. So, Michael, we'll go ahead and do our lesson.
I will do Science of Mind 365.
Yes.
So again, that Dr. Holmes talks today about abundant living. He says, why go through life as though it were something to be endured, as though there was not enough good or joy to go around? Are we not always limiting the possibility of love and affection, of appreciation, and of the common everyday good things of life? If we really are in union with a divine source, then there should come a feeling of abundance in everything that we do, an abundance of friendship, of self-expression, of everything. The abundant life continues and contains all things, whether we call them big or little. And we should sense the flow in our consciousness of the divine intelligence, a feeling that the creative imagination of the whole universe is centered in us and flowing through us. And we should continually practice this more abundant life, not necessarily for any specific thing or the good that we desire, but for the realization of the all good flowing through everyone and everything. Attuning our consciousness to this divine abundance, automatically we find a betterment in everything that we do, a broader and deeper experience, a higher realization, and a greater good. Dr. Ernest Holmes' treatment or prayer, it says, today I expect a more abundant life. I am keeping my whole mind and thought and expectation open to new experiences, to happier events, and to a more complete self-expression. Giving out more love, I expect greater love in return. Sharing with others, whatever good things I have, I expect all of life to share with me the good that it possesses. Seeing beauty everywhere, I expect a revelation of still more beauty. Seeing joy in everything, I expect more laughter. More deeply sensing the divine tranquility in which all things exist, I expect a deeper consciousness of peace and security. Through it all, I feel that I am in the embrace of a warm, loving presence, forever seeking an outlet through me. And from Psalm 145, verse 16, it says, thou openest thy hand and satisfieth the desire of every living thing.
Thank you for doing the Science of Mind 365. John, we went ahead and went with that. So boy, we were waiting for you. So.
All right. Well,
Oh, I hear you. I hear
should I
you.
try
now.
getting the opening song in?
Yes.
I think I got the right microphone up now.
All right.
Here we are for being together, for good, for better, forever. Here we are together, for being, for good, for better.
together for healing, for good, for better. Here we are for wisdom together for good, for better, forever. Here we are together for wisdom, for good, for better. Here we are for life together, for good, for better, forever. Here we are together for life, for good, for better. Here we are, here we are.
All right, thank you, John Miller. We appreciate that opening song. Okay, well, we're going to go right into meditation, John. So,
All right.
because we already did 365, and yeah, we'll just go right into meditation then.
All right.
On the radiant pulse, we are the radiant pulse. We are the radiant pulse. We are the radiant pulse. We are the heart of life. 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 We are the bliss of joy. 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 We are the power of love. All the power of love. We are the power of love. We are the power of love. We are the presence of peace. 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 Ah, ah, ah.
And as we recognize that we are the radiant light and the presence of peace, just with me, please join me in taking in a deep breath. Just release and relax and just let go. We'll take in another deep breath. And as we release and relax, just allow the chair to support you. And one more great big deep breath. As we relax, just come into the present moment. For we are surrounded by Spirit. Spirit is everywhere. God is everywhere. In all, through all, as all. Spirit is the radiant pulse, the Prince of Peace, the bliss of joy. It is love, light, life, joy, peace, power, beauty, wisdom, abundance, wholeness, complete perfection. Spirit is all there is. God is all there is. God created all, is in all, through all, to every branch, on every leaf on the trees, every blade of grass, every grain of sand, every part of the world, including us, God created, the universe, the planets, the stars, the oceans, the deserts, the mountains, the valleys. So knowing that we are a part of and are one with all that is, because we were created by Spirit, created in that same archetype as Spirit. I just know that we are one, not only one with Spirit, one with God, one with each other, one with the presence, the beauty, the joy, life and love. So as we gather today as Summit Center for Spiritual Living, I know that it is a wonderful day. It is a wonderful, beautiful Palm Sunday. I know I give thanks for John doing the music and the speaking today, Anna doing the Facebook feed. I'm grateful for Michelle and Kyle and Carol Ann and Michael all being here. Michael having done the reading. I'm just grateful and thankful for each and every one of us. Because as we gather together, we shine that greater light. And we can go throughout the world. Wherever we go, our light is shining. But it's once we get near other people, that light ignites within each other. And it just brings that light to glow even more. So our light is glowing brightly right here, right now. Even through the internet and the interwebs and all this. Just by thinking about each other. Being here present, we are a greater light. So I give thanks. Give thanks for this beautiful day. I give thanks for Spirit just being in us, through us, and as us. I give thanks for anything that is being healed right now. Whatever healing is needed, it is being taken care of at this moment. Whether it be person, place, thing, or the world, I know that any healing that is needed is being done right now. One more time, I give thanks, and I now release my word, the word of spirit, and let it go back to spirit, which is all there is. Lord, amen.
We are the radiant pulse. We are the radiant pulse. We are the radiant pulse. We are the radiant pulse.
Okay, thank you. And as you open your eyes, and please also open your cameras. And hello, Anonymous. We are happy you are here. You don't have to open your cameras, but we do like to look into each other's eyes and just recognize, see that beautiful expression of spirit within each and other. So that is why we just do that at this moment. So look into each other's eyes and just see that wonderful that we are. Okay, so thank you very much. And well, we're going to John. It's a John show today because he's also our speaker, and you're very fortunate to have him doing not only the music but being the speaker today. And he volunteered to do Palm Sunday, so I am going to turn this over to you, John.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
hopefully my sound will be all right. We'll move right along. See how it goes here.
Oh, and I do, before I do turn it over, please everybody mute so that John can be heard easily, and nobody actually doesn't. If we drop something or whatever, it's not heard by that and everybody else.
Well, here we are on Palm Sunday. So wave your palms. If you have we used to have the palm fronds, you know. There's something false about this being a palm branch, and there's probably not a whole. There's probably a few things in the story of Palm Sunday and the week after, especially, that may not be accurate historically, but we have it embedded in our mind as how that story goes. So we're going to go with that and see what we can learn from it. The gospel description of this day, Palm Sunday, commemorates the event of Yeshua, and I prefer to use his real name rather than the Romanized name, if you don't mind, of Yeshua riding into Jerusalem on a borrowed donkey that he had envisioned and then had his disciples retrieve for him. Metaphysically, the ride on the donkey represents the control that the higher consciousness has over the animal nature. And thank God for that, or we'd spend most of our time chasing around seeking shelter, food, and sex while marking and defending our territory. But then there are some people that's their main thing, but some of us move beyond that. Well, this event was a celebration also of the wisdom teaching and the healing by Yeshua of the people that he had served and helped. The crowd waved and they laid down palm tree branches in the path of his donkey. Although I went to a Christian seminary, I've always been mystified by the emphasis on the horrible torture, crucifixion, and death of Jesus. It seems to me that the teaching and healing work should be emphasized more. And I wonder why they made the cross the main Christian symbol, then a recognizable image of rebirth, such as a flower or simply a picture of Yeshua, like we had in the church where I grew up. We had a large lighted picture up in the choir loft, actually, which was the central thing you'd see in the front of the sanctuary. One day I was on the way home and I passed a home that had 3 small crosses in a rock garden in the corner of their yard. I've mentioned this story before. And my thinking was, gee, if those are the graves of their pets, is it legal for them to bury them in the front yard like that? Then I figured, oh, wait a minute, that was probably just a display of the crucifixion scene. And I was wondering, what do they mean by that, having this little display of crosses in their front yard? Well, many homes and churches display crucifix statues or pictures of Yeshua on a cross. And I believe the church, the establishment Christianity, found it expedient to celebrate the negative. They've encouraged the transmission of the ideas of sin and sacrifice and offered the institution as the way of dealing with this. So if even the Son of God can have such a bad day as to be tortured and killed in a painful way, what hope do the rest of us have to avoid the onslaught of the evil chaos monster, the devil, or just humans that want total domination over us? Well, scapegoat theology, the concept of Yeshua's death as sacrifice for the believer's sins to save us from hell or to at least let us into heaven, was ascribed to Paul. And it's based on long-standing sacrificial practices in that region of the world. Remember the animal sacrifices of the Hebrews and other Mideastern cultures. So we have to ponder what is written in the scriptures to grasp for ourselves the insights and understanding that serve our personal growth. I think the teaching demonstration of Yeshua and the life of his Spirit is where the action is. During this week leading up to the persecution of Yeshua was the event in the temple yard where he cast out the money changers and the vendors of the sacrifice animals and so on, which got him in trouble with the, not that he wasn't already in trouble with the Sanhedrin, the authorities of the Jewish hierarchy. But then later on this Thursday was the Passover meal on what we call Maundy Thursday. He washed the feet of the disciples. It was not uncommon to wash feet that were clad only in sandals and had traversed dusty paths. But it was amazing to the disciples that Yeshua was washing their feet. Because feet symbolize understanding. The ritual the master was engaging here represented humility and the purification of the understanding that humility provides. According to the gospel narrative, later that evening, as they were eating, Yeshua took a piece of bread and, giving it a blessing, he offered it as a symbol of his body. Then he took the cup of wine, and after giving thanks, he presented that as a symbol of his blood. As we all know, this representation has become the predominant ritual in the church. It is based on similar rituals and earlier use in other religious traditions. The church offers participation in communion as a way of personally celebrating the sacrifice of Christ by taking in the sacramental food representing the body and blood of the Son of God. Now, in some churches, this is taught as remembrance, such as the church I grew up in, while in others it involves a mysterious transformation. But the Christ concept was of Greek origin, and it refers to a messianic representative from the divine realm to bring peace and awareness and maybe even utopian life. But of course, the Hebrews also had a Messiah complex, a Messiah theory. And there also were many examples of gods and sons of gods in the ancient world, including dying and rising gods. One example would be Osiris and Horus, his son. So these themes were in circulation and drawn on by the Roman Empire under Constantine to fashion the description of Jesus, incorporating these ideas, as well as elements of the Roman deities Mithra, Apollo, and Zeus. Interestingly, the word J-E in French is the word for I. So Jesus implies I am Zeus. It is faith, though, in the spirit of the Creator God that Yeshua and others who are dedicated to the reality of what I call creative awareness, that is the essence of spiritual living, faith in the spirit of God. So in the important symbol of communion, both the physical and the spiritual are included as essential to remembering the wholeness of the inner divine person. Rightly understood, this remembrance ritual symbolically represents oneness with the divine. There was a mystical German peasant lady of great faith, her name was Teresa Newman, I believe, who miraculously lived most of her life without food other than her daily communion wafer. She thrived on her faith, not on the small bit of dough that was in the wafer, but in the actual life energy derived from her faith. Each of us is similarly endowed with a physical form animated by a life force, which is consciousness itself. Ultimately, we can be mindful of that each moment. But unfortunately, most religions and their texts have been crafted by various writers and edited and revised by periodic committees and dictates for purposes of morality, but also of distraction, limitation, and perhaps even mass control. Well, the life of Yeshua, I feel, is a demonstration of transformation. That was actually a theme in my master's work years ago. Yeshua examples divine consciousness in human form. The light, the consciousness of peace and love, the ideal example of how to live and care. The word I am, which is YHVH, or Yud, Hai, Vav, and Hai, the Hebrew letters, which is called the Tetragrammaton, expresses God alive in the word of creation. There's a whole mystical aspect to Judaism that was developed around that word. But born again in the spirit, living as truth among fellow human beings is what Jesus' real mission was about. Baptism in water was another symbol of purification and transformation that was expressed in the Bible. Yeshua himself was baptized by his probable spiritual teacher, John the Baptist, who was possibly also his cousin. Then Yeshua and his disciples likely used that baptism process with many others. There's also the breath ritual that is hinted at in chapter 3 of the Gospel of John, where Nicodemus, a Pharisee, one of the high Jews, came to Yeshua for instruction in becoming born anew. Yeshua talked of being born of water and the Spirit, and also refers to the wind blowing where it wills. Well, the Greek word pneuma, P-N-E-U-M-A, was interchangeably used for wind, breath, and spirit. Some scholars believe that Yeshua taught a spiritual ritual of breath. Transformational breathing has been an esoteric spiritual practice the world over in many secret societies over the centuries. Well, the major transformation of life is death. Death is the great unknown. It represents a return to the unconscious, and we face this inevitability our whole lives. On the one hand, I should say, death is usually considered with fear or associated with a darkness, a sense of loss and separation, especially on the mourners after the other person has passed. And in Hinduism, the terrible mother Kali Ma cuts off heads, destroys lives, and threatens chaos. So we have a God figure expressing this kind of destructive death scenario. And it's a perception of disorder and disturbed feelings, pain and loneliness, all these things that can haunt some of us or all of us at some times on both sides of the veil. But on the other hand, death may also be understood as an extension of love, light, progress, and union or unification. There's also a good mother, Mary, who loves her children, cares and nurtures and heals. And one of my mentors, Carl Jung, not personal mentor, but psychological mentor, I guess we'll say, he thought the Assumption of Mary was a major psychological event in human history, as it raised the feminine to divine status, to the heavenly realm, so to speak, to the pantheon. Many of us have an expectation of transition to light or to a spirit body and a conscious, maybe dream-like existence upon leaving the physical. It's an opportunity for further exploration of awareness. So Yeshua's transformation of death, where even the God-man apparently dies, and in this case painfully, after his rigged trial, he was brought before Pilate and humiliated, with a common thief being chosen for mercy by the crowd instead of him. The religious officials were threatened by the power and authority that Jesus had brought to their community, who consistently demonstrated the highest consciousness and criticized the religious authorities for their failures and their greed and so forth. He had expelled the money changers and those animal vendors from the temple courtyard. So the Jewish authorities acted out of fear. They were driven by greed and a threat to their power. They perceived their existence from polar thinking, the thinking of the ego and the sense of separation. Well, first, Yeshua is depicted as perplexed and anxious in the Garden of Gethsemane. He pleads with the Father to have the ordeal eliminated, which is considered a sign of his real humanity. The ego is trained to defend against its undoing. Nonetheless, Yeshua said, "Let thy will, not my will, be done." So it seems that he would likely be thinking, "Thy will is my will," referring to the Godhead. So we have here the reality of death to consider. Why have humans so readily killed each other? There's some kind of power they get from exercising this power over death and the fear that it brings. But make death your ally is a lesson that Don Juan, a teacher of Yaqui Indian teacher of the Sonoran Desert, expressed in the books about his teachings. He said, make death your ally to understand how to correct mistaken notions. The ideal death is a loving transition to a lighter way of being with which you're already familiar. So if you pay attention to visions and dreams, lucid dreaming is a possibility. In a most important moment, Yeshua is reported to have said, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" Well, this exclamation about being forsaken may be seen as the last vestige of ego being eliminated. And the culmination of this experience is spiritual surrender, where Yeshua gave up his spirit, his breath. His sacrifice, or making sacred, was not about being a scapegoat for our sins, but to teach us to avoid sin, to avoid making the mistake of missing the mark. As Ram Dass, another spiritual teacher and advisor, once said, Yeshua's real sacrifice was coming to this plane of existence where a sense of separation, frustration, and suffering are the common experiences. So just incarnating in this realm where we have, power struggles and wars and conflicts and death and destruction and so forth is itself the sacrifice. And we all are here for these kind of lessons by our own choosing, in my estimation. But it's really also about the resurrection, where Jesus came to teach the truth and to demonstrate transformation. And that's symbolized by the process in the cave when the woman went to attend to his body with spices and oils. An angel visitation delivered a message of a powerful transformation. This moment gives us a realization of higher consciousness, of rebirth. It involves humility, attuning the will to the spiritual guidance of our own higher self, and fulfilling the process of divine consciousness expressing itself. With this resurrection, Jesus had transformed to fully living as light. The most poignant expression is his encounter with Mary in the garden. She had at first been focused on the tomb and death and preparing the body, but the angels inside represented divine ideas. They suggested that she look elsewhere when she was unable to find the body she was looking for. So turning to the garden, which represents life and vitality, she sees Yeshua, but she doesn't recognize him, thinking him maybe to be the gardener. As he calls her name, Mary, there's a recognition and a transformation, a new life, a new relationship begins. So we celebrate this transformation at the springtime, as we had celebrated Yeshua's birth at the start of winter, just after the winter solstice, even though he may have been more likely born in the spring or perhaps in the fall. But the spring is the celebration of the rebirth of nature, and nature going through its own resurrection. So this story represents the ultimate transformation, a metamorphosis, if you like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. As in nature, dying things nourish the growth of living things. Death becomes life. Since the cross is already a powerfully endowed symbol, it should be celebrated in its aspect of being a symbol of the triumph of life over death. In geometry, when two non-parallel line segments come together at some point, they intersect, that cross is an intersection, a nexus. And in our case, the cross is an intersection or a nexus of the physical and the spiritual. So this point of the cross, where the two stems cross, represents the doorway between heaven and earth. It's like a gateway or a portal of creative loving awareness, manifesting creation. It's our opportunity to, as we contemplate it, be born again and know the truth of love. So as you think about birth, life, death, the resurrection of Yeshua, who is the divine man, realize that it all represents the renewal of the light of consciousness, the power of love within each of us. It is our story. We can recognize or make conscious again the spiritual transformation in our own life. You have been born, you have grown in consciousness, you've suffered, you have loved. You've been transformed again and again. Every morning you wake up. So we can breathe easy, our breath being the constant connection to spirit, and think of yourself, to yourself, I am alive. I am living consciousness. Spirit is living in a physical form as me. Consider how to make yourself available to the further realization of that transformation to the point of complete understanding. It's called being transformed as spirit and truth, and living in and as love and light. There you are.
Thank you, John. That was wonderful. Very, very, very good. I always like some of the explanation, the metaphysical explanations of things, because I was raised with, just the regular things that I like the metaphysical stuff that you did, the explanations. And especially that in the last part that you said about realizing that as we recognize our new day, that we recognize each and every day as a place of, beauty and peace, and can't get out my words. I'm going to turn this over to somebody else. It was God. Okay. Anybody else want to make a comment?
John, that was great. And I think that again, I think, again, an explanation of the story or the myth. It doesn't make it not valid. That it really, the whole idea of getting beyond the historical, what happened, and also to get to the deeper meaning. I think that's the whole meaning of Easter. And yeah, so yeah, thank you, and also thank you for the Bible literacy. I think that having again a more scholarly approach to Scripture, I think is missing missing in the Christian church. But again, that you don't. I heard the perfect during conference. Josh Reeves, who's the co-pastor of Mile High in Denver, he says in describing Science Mind, he says we're Christian we're Christian without all the dogma, and that you don't have to be Christian. So I think, again, there's universal themes and I really like that you use the term Yeshua rather than Jesus. I think that again, unfortunately a very misunderstood term. So thank you. That was great.
Carol Ann, you're muted. There you are.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the way you took the physical experience and raised it into a spiritual consciousness understanding and looking at that and it is so much what, to me, the whole idea around Easter is about realizing that we are in a physical form, and yet, as you so beautifully pointed out, there is so much depth, there is so much spiritual coming through us. We simply have to open our eyes to it. And that repeatedly, as you were sharing the different things, and I could feel that many people, in hearing this, would have a lot of ahas. And it's wonderful to have those ahas, but to realize that we can have them every day in our life, and this become our life, is a very powerful message that you're giving to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, John, I'm going to let you turn it over to you now for a song.
All right. All right. This is called Meaning. Giving attention, setting a time, presenting a thought, moving to climb, opening doorways, stretching to reach, learning what life is, insights to teach. What is the meaning in living? What is the reason for death? Every moment is precious. The world is here in each breath. Sharing experience, creating a plan, growing in knowledge, knowing we can, being a friend, reaching out, learning that loving is beyond
and living? What is the reason for death? Every moment is precious. The world is here in each breath. Learning what happens is not set in stone. Knowing that loving is never alone. These are the keys of happiness into the secret of awareness. What is the meaning in living? What is the reason for death? Every moment is precious. The world is here in each breath.
Thank you, John. You haven't done that in a long time, or that's not new, is it?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so, but it just haven't done it in a long time. Sounds really, really good. Okay, well, it is that time in our service where we give everybody the opportunity to give. And if you would like to give, you can go to Zelle and you would put in, go to sscofakron@gmail.com. That's sscofakron@gmail.com, and you can give through Zelle that way. Or you can send a check, as long as the word summit is on that check. You could do Summit Spiritual Center, Summit CSL. Just make sure the word summit's there. And 1199 Lexington Avenue, Akron, Ohio 44310 is where you need to send it to, and we'll make sure they get added to our stuff. So let's take our offering, right top over left. And just know with me that all that we have, all that we give, all that we receive is blessed in a very special way. And that it now goes to the work of Summit Center for Spiritual Living. And it was returned 10 times or more to each and every person as well. So with that, I am just so grateful and thankful. Amen. All right, John Miller, good morning.
Good, more good is mine, and ever increasing good is mine. Unlimited, infinite good is mine. Wherever I go, I see good. Whatever I do, I feel oh so good. I'm worthy and entitled to good and more good. Good crowds itself upon us, wraps itself around us. We give ourselves permission to accept more good, express more good. Oh, more good is ours, and ever increasing good is ours. Thank you, Spirit and Soul. It is.
Thank you, John Miller. Time for announcements.
ntmedia.org. That's ntmedia.org. That's where I've been at during the week. And I don't know if I told this group that we received a $5,000 technology grant from Hefferland for new cameras for streaming. So that'll make my job so much easier this summer. So I really, really, really blessed, and thank you. So, John, do you have any announcements?
Yes, for the local folks, Wednesday at noon at the Jenks Building at 1884 Front Street, downtown Cuyahoga Falls. I'll play for a couple hours. Bring a lunch. They don't have food, but you can bring your own bag lunch or buy something at another restaurant and bring it in. I think they do have. There's a coffee shop and other beverages if you want beverages. But anyway, a couple hours. You can come on down and I'm gonna sing my best songs.
Sounds
And
great.
besides that, yeswise.com, where I have Yeswise Inspiri, my little weekly inspirational message.
Okay. All right. Any other announcements? I guess not. All right. So with that, let's have a moment of silence. I'm going to ring in our bell. And when we do that, I want you to bring into mind anybody who may need some healing, whether it's yourself, uh, family member, coworker, or just the world. And let's just see and feel and know and express that healing is happening right here and right now. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And John, for our final song.
All right. Well, I was trying to share the screen again, but it ain't coming up. So. Love is real. Love is real. Love is true. We are love, living as me and you. Joy, joy is real. Joy is true. We are joy, living as me and you. Peace, peace is real. Peace is true. We are peace, living as me and you. Life is real. Life is true. We are life, living as me and you. Living as me and you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And then next week, again, I'm not sure if it's going to be Michael or myself, but one of us will be here to do the Easter service. And so, Hannah, you can let us take us off our. Oh, go ahead, John.
She can take.
Oh, okay. So if you'll go ahead and end our Facebook